Writing a new song can be simple or complicated. Before I get out a pen and pad, I'm going to ask some friends about their experience writing original music.
Writing a new song, that is a hard process.
You know, when I'm writing a new song, it's always different. It always kind of depends.
For songwriting, I usually just have like a couple of lines that come to me one day with the melody and the lyrics, and I'll usually make a note in my phone.
I'm a drummer first, so a lot of the ways I write songs is, you have the rhythms, the Latin rhythms, and I'm putting montunos over them, and I'm taking traditional music and I'm trying to mix it up a little bit.
Cool, all that stuff's cool, pay respect to it, but Alex and I, being from the States, are never gonna add more Latin influence to already Latin music, and these guys are like, we don't want to do the same traditional rhythms. They're great and they're super cool, and I'll keep sending them your way, but we don't have to keep playing that stuff. Treat it with that sort of beginner's mind, not knowing everything about this music.
For me, when starting a new song, I often let the rhythm speak to me. I listen. Whatever awesome beats Mark has drummed up, I feel it out, and I let that dictate what should go best with it.
Sometimes there's a lyric, and maybe there's a hook that I write around. Sometimes there's a melody that comes into my head, and that's the first thing that I work with.
The first thing I do is the second thing, which is listening through tape recordings and notes I've taken and weird ideas I worked out. The first idea, you don't even know you're doing it while you're doing it. It's just happening. And if you're lucky, you taped it, or it's so good you woke up the next morning and it's here, and then you try to develop it.
So sometimes we get a little stuck in some idea, but it's a privilege when you have that mirror close that can give you, and we talk about that. It's like we are going and take the ball and go, yeah, we have to pass the ball, because you can't have the ball all the time. We need it to pass each other and to see it from. Because when I say it, look, maybe this melody in this chord will be better, because now we have to construct a bridge to go to a higher part. And I do some melody, but she assimilate and she make it a different way. That also works.
Because there's a lot of people in our band that are, contributing lyrics and stuff like that. So it's just you see how two people, how they treat, the same montuno or whatever idea.
We all sort of had a collective sound that we were working with, and maybe a parameter of how those rhythms interlock, and through trial and error figuring out, oh, this is how it really pops.
The only way to get better at it and to make better decisions and choices is doing it a lot and making a lot of mistakes.
Other time, it's very much, when we are writing as a band, it's very organic and collaborative.
It's like I laid out the roadmap, and then Jose and some other friends came later, and they added another hook into that.
We sit in Leo's studio, and a lot of it is very inspired. We try to just feel whatever's going on, and it just kind of blurts out.
I don't know where it's going, but I can feel where it's going. In terms of developing a song, once you have an idea, some guys I work with are very deliberate, where, okay, I'm really gonna work this out and really sort it through. I'm much more cook it up, get a good vibe with your people, cook a little mojo, and then improvise.
That process is cooking.
Playing, and then we start to collectively jam, maybe 4 hours of playing this one groove and figure out what it is or what it's not.
Follow the idea in the moment and tape everything, and then you sift through those tapes and say, yeah, that was something, and work it out that way.
And then at some point when I get to it, I'll sit down, maybe with the guitar, or maybe just with a notebook, and flesh it all out.
You could write anything by yourself and write it, but is it the right thing? Is it where you want it to go?
Alea touches on a great point here. Often when composing a song, you listen to what you wrote and it can be a good song, a great song, but is it the right song? Does it say what you want to say? Does the style match other songs on the album? Doing this can be a lot harder than just writing a good song.
And so we have this parameter of playing groove music that needs to really be in the pocket, but that's that needs to happen. Now how can what's the spice that we can sprinkle on that? What's the psychedelic element to really blast off?
For this album specifically, we've worked a lot on concept. We worked on the concept first. Think about the message first. Think about the audience first.
Our new song that we just came up with, Run, and also Friday Midnight, Leo and I were inspired by a lot of these musicians that were committing suicide, and we kind of just were like really down about it, and we had a whole writing session at his house, and we were kind of invoking the spirits of these musicians that have died and have passed on, and we wrote like 8 songs, one after the other, little bits. Sometimes it was just a chorus, sometimes it was just like one verse, but we tried to just have the music come out of us. And then later, when we were sober, we focused a little bit more, and we kind of cleaned it up and wrote some more specific lyrics and built from those ideas that we had gotten.
While most writers bring forth their songs from something internal, others have trusted in computers and AI to compose the actual content itself. As technology evolves, musicians have constantly new tools available to them, from electric amplification to MIDI keyboards, nonlinear digital editing, and now AI-composed music. In addition to being the leader of Tiny Escalators, Nash High also creates software that generates random music.
Mark, man, you want to check out some new music I've been working on? Because I made this program. You can type in any word and it'll create the song. So we just put in Kuno, say render, and we got the Kuno song. The Voodoo music generator just programmed it in Java. Takes a word, makes it into a song, but then you can also customize it too. You can do your own instruments and tempo and all that stuff.
I'm going to share some of the music I created with Nash's Voodoo music generator. This is one way to hear new music that you won't hear anywhere else. I highly encourage you to download this free software.
Sometimes I'll put on a big playlist of music generator music, so I listen to a lot of it. It kind of gives me new ideas about music because it doesn't really have any kind of genre or any too many rules that it's going by, so it makes all kinds of weird stuff, and hopefully some of that weird stuff gets carried on into my music.
Los Coulters can't code quite as well as Nash, but we did create a random music generator using the popular game Minecraft. Without going into too much detail, Minecraft is an open-world random sandbox video game focused on crafting and building. You can build whatever you want in creative mode, including functioning electrical and mechanical devices. In this quick lesson, we'll demonstrate how to build and use a simple keyboard, a drum loop, and an animal randomizer. The keyboard is very straightforward. Each button activates a different note. The drum loop functions on a set loop. As the current travels in a circle, it sets off different sounds. The randomizer utilizes the random movements programmed into animals' behavior within the game. As chickens and pigs walk in random directions, they can randomly activate musical notes and sounds. In a structure similar to jazz music, this machine keeps one element on a steady rhythm and allows the other tones to be free. Just like the tunes from Nash's Voodoo generator, we ran them through some amps and distortion to find a more interesting sound. For a lengthier lesson on music in Minecraft, please write us or comment. While good old-fashioned songwriting is alive and well, next time you're stumped for a riff, don't rule out turning to technology. And with that done, let's go check out a live show. Mark caught up with Mundo Nouvo for 2 live performances in Kansas City. The group performed as a smaller trio as part of the KC Streetcar Art in the Loop Summer Music Series, where bands performed live on public transportation routes.
Que te sigo queriendo, que te sigo amando, que te sigo adorando, cada día más y más.
A little later, we saw Mundo Nuevo's full team perform traditional Colombian tunes at the Record Bar. This band is packed tight with talent. They put on an awesome show with diverse rhythms and styles. Visit their website and support their live shows.